Mercurio, the European leader in cryptocurrency payment processing solutions, is making its way to the USA. Our technology enables businesses across the world to send and receive payments for goods and services using cryptocurrencies. To do this, we provide businesses with our widget that lets the users buy and sell cryptocurrencies, allowing companies to earn more. Mercurio technology allows cryptocurrencies to be used as any form of payment worldwide. Its infrastructure provides solutions for virtual accounts, business payments, remittance processing, and mass payouts, regardless of local payment methods and currencies. All these parts unite into one seamless and smooth ecosystem that reveals new opportunities for business. It works smoothly and provides the best possible user experience both for business and users too. So its partners can work with Mercurio in America, and American businesses can access clients in Europe and around the world. It empowers more businesses to be part of the global blockchain community, making the digital economy a reality for more and more partners worldwide. Mercurio, bridging fiat and crypto worlds.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello everyone. We are on decentralized TV channel. I can call it for sure the first decentralized crypto TV channel. I am host of you. My name is Sergey Sevantsyan. I am mastermind of this interesting and thoughtful think tank community with the think tank people around the globe. I've combined on one place. Today with us, as usual, as always, Mru Patel. Hi Mru, my pleasure to see you every time. Constantin Kogan from New York City with very interesting town, I don't know how I'd say, skyscraper behind it. It raises up a few years ago. Constantin, my pleasure to see you as well. And Jason Chu, our guest from Malaysia, and I want to introduce him. He is from Bitcoin Malaysia, the largest cryptocurrency community group of 57,000 people combined in Southern Asia. My pleasure to all of you, pleasure to see all of you. And for the beginning, I want to give, investment advice. It's very interesting. Please invest in yourself. Invest in your thoughts, invest in your communication. For example, improve your English, try to speak or another language, because people who are speaking and people who are making communication with self-minded and self-speaking people around the globe. Trying to make connection much more reliable and much more readable to each other. And as usual, we are connecting for people around the globe, and Rico with us as well. He is Avenger of Crypto Malaysia. You know, Rico, today you have your friend, friend from the local, from the, very close location. I'm really sorry for my so bad English. That's why I have to bring my name. Bring to the room. Bro, your turn.
Oh my God, I don't know whether his English is improving as we go along, or he's using this as free coaching lessons from us, or what it is.
He definitely improved a lot.
He's improved a hell of a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mru Patel. I won't go in through all these formalities that people should know now. CEO of Sapient, CEO of Flash, and partner of both those companies. Today, I think Sergey has asked me to discuss about some hot topics, what's happening in the market, before our friend comes on. What time is she coming on?
Yes. Mru, I need a little bit rescue from you today.
Not a problem.
Catherine,
what time is she coming on?
Us within 10 or 15 minutes.
Catherine, 15 minutes. So let's kick off with the first questions then.
Yeah.
As usual, we have lots of topics to talk about, but for me just now, I don't know about you guys, I'm sure Rico probably does, and Constantin, this BlackRock thing that blew me away, because for the listeners, BlackRock is the largest asset management company in the world. You know, when I last looked at it, I think it had about 9 trillion in AUM. Okay, So 9 trillion in assets under management, that's huge. And for them to say they are now coming in to Bitcoin and Bitcoin futures specifically is good, but bad as well. Let me give you my view, okay? So A, it's fantastic for Bitcoin to say, look, more adoption from institutions, more people with MicroStrategy and all the rest of them are now putting hundreds of millions into Bitcoin. And it kind of like, in my view, says, this thing is real. It's a real store of value. Everyone who is even a bank, from the old critics that we had, from the JP Diamonds through to now the BlackRocks of the world, Goldman Sachs, MicroStrategy, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Good. On the other side, let me give you my bad as well, and it'll be good to debate with everyone. So on the bad side, I think what will happen is, and I think I've touched on this before, like in the early days when gold becomes so fashionable, everyone was buying it until the Americans said, ban it. And then they collected all of it, 60-70% of the world reserves, and then opened it up. And that's when the market really shot up for the price of gold. So do we see something like that where the institutions and the large banks, etc., are going to buy, hodl, or whale trade, or actually take some of the, what I call the core Bitcoin hodlers away so that they won't get a chance to enter into the market? So that's the kind of like cynical bad side to it. It's best to have both views, whilst we are all Bitcoin supporters here. So that's my view. So with that, let's start with our hedge fund guy. Come on, Constantin, what's your view?
Well, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, as you know, headquarters of BlackRock is actually in New York, so I've been there.
Yeah, I know. I've been to the office, by the way.
Yeah, so it is. It's a fascinating firm. It is the biggest, and probably the biggest investment for manager in the world, with almost 9 trillion, 8 point something. And yeah, the fact that they did announce recently, it was like last week when they announced that they're actually trying to get their 2 funds. They actually, in the SEC records, which I've read, they want to get like some derivative play, So
yeah, they're doing derivatives, futures for Bitcoin.
Yes,
that's what they're doing.
Exactly. So the idea, so that will be the BlackRock Strategic Income Opportunities and BlackRock Global Allocation Fund.
Correct.
So the 2 funds that they applied, yes. Security and Exchange Commission. And so what it means essentially that with their purchasing power, they will be able to manipulate the derivative market, right? So if you think about like what's missing, the big picture, if you're talking about like traditional financial structures, it's ability to short the market massively. So if you think about right now, the industry, in our industry, exists like on the DeFi premises, on like certain, now we're getting like into big pictures of billions of dollars in new influx of people who are generally excited about the opportunities to receive, so this people call it like passive income, right? From whether it's going to be USDC, USDT, or lending Bitcoin, Ethereum, and which is great. It's a great opportunity. Now, the other strategies in a hedge fund world is people want to have a certain hedge, right? That is achieved by ability to short the market. To be
Mercurio,
frank,
the European leader in cryptocurrency
payment, they're minuscule. Like if you would compare it to global markets, like even the ratio is not.
It's less than 0.1%, but it's
exactly.
still.
And we've seen we've seen what happened before in 2018 when the futures were announced. The market was crashed, right? Because professional traders, they know how to professionally short the market.
Yeah.
So I think the fact, if they would put like even 1% of their like AUM, that's definitely a good thing for the market. But the fear is, yes, if they would, with their power to leverage the market, they will also have an ability to short it tremendously. We will have to mature really fast. Like it's like a big boy that
get off the fence. Tell it as it is. 1 trillion at 100x leverage, it's a big number. Or even 10x, even if the 10x leverage it for, because derivatives notorious for this, as we know. Futures, options, all this is very notorious. People very easily do 10x, right? So even if they put 100 million, that's the whole market cap of all of crypto. That's my concern.
And it's a valid concern, because that would mean that there are only few other managers on the market, and I can tell you from my analysis, probably less than 50, like who will be able to match the, and somehow
I would say
compete.
less than 10 at their level, really.
Well, no, I'm not saying at their level, but I'm saying even with 100 million AUM, right? The people who would actually are playing on this level, right?
At the
Nobody's
derivatives,
at their level.
at the derivatives leverage market, correct?
Yeah. So, and that's sad news for retail investors.
Yes,
So,
which is the point I made. I made. Yes.
But to be frank, in all the markets, when the market are maturing, you're competing always against very powerful tools that are sentiment analysis. They're analyzing 400 to hundreds different parameters. It's unfair game by default. You're always competing with powerful AI and algos that are predicting every single movement, analyzing all the influencers, thousands of different messages and out there. So it's never a fair game. So just if anyone is having a dream that I'm still going to be a great trader and I'm going to compete against those folks who have multi-billion infrastructures, well, probably you have to be more realistic.
Thank you. Yeah, just to summarize, I've always said this as well, that people who come into crypto trading, this is not financial advisors to all the viewers out there, but this is not like your forex stock trading and when you leverage, because you might think you've got the best Fibonacci or Bollinger or MACDs or whatever. That shit don't cut it on this market, because it's not as clean and regulated as it is for the traditional markets. Rico, let's bring you in, Rico. What's your view on, and you're a big Bitcoin evangelist or supporter or avenger, as Sergey calls it. What's your view, good and bad?
I would say there are more good points than bad points for the short term, especially this year, because as we all know, the total liquidity of Bitcoin in the pool is not that big anyway. So I think we can definitely grow the liquidity pool in the crypto space eventually. I believe the Bitcoin network knows what is going on, and we have all the intelligence worldwide to play around with these giant institutions, investors around. So I think that will be a good sign for Bitcoin and the crypto market, where the price will be expected to go higher. For the retail investors, this might be your last opportunity, this year to see the price so low. You better come in, or don't regret one day when it's 100, 200 grand for a Bitcoin. Eventually, we all know that it's going to happen. As what Constantin and Mru pointed out, don't regret when, and think when's a dip to buy anymore. Just come in and hold.
Hodl, that's it.
Hodl, just be a hodl in the Bitcoin space, not other. Maybe a bit of Ethereum is fine, but
I can't believe you said that.
A little bit, not too much.
10%.
Not lesser than that. But I mean, the point is that it's a good thing for the space, especially this year. But like what I think, they are still very careful, because as you mentioned, it's an unregulated space in many countries. For an institution to move in and getting all his army of traders or fund managers to go in, they may have other risks involved with their clients' portfolios and whatnot. And also, you might also hurt the traditional old money market if they go in too fast and furious into our space. So I think we still have a bit of time there to buy in, to still enjoy the range of price that we have now. But I would say it's not long period of time. Maybe I would say in 2 to 3 years time, we'll see, some of these fund managers hedging in very big amount of money to come into our space. And it's just a matter of time. It might be even sooner, depending on how bad the economy goes in the
I
next
think
year.
it'll be sooner because of this COVID thing and what's happening.
That's what we are predicting. But
I'm
it might be
predicting
sooner
the
than what
same thing.
we
Same
think.
thing.
Maybe next year by 2022. Well, I'm not going to speculate the price of Bitcoin so early. But I would say that it's definitely much, much higher than what we predicted for this year.
Yeah. But you've already speculated it. We've got a side bet on, remember? I will never let you forget that. Okay, so Jason, let's just...
my 2 cents into, if you don't mind. Yes, really what I'm personally got concerned, and personals like me, which are the key opinion leaders, which are promoting all of this to the huge communities, we are personally become some kind of hamsters, really, because so come in and now they are shorting all of our money became in this industry.
You got it.
We are being beginners and we are bringing all of that community here. Now we are the hamsters, which are now bringing another kind of institution. And I'm personally really get concerned because now it becomes not our game.
Correct. It's not your game. And that's the point I made right at the open, because there is good side, as I pointed out, and Rico and Constantin too, that, big money is good to give it a bigger rubber stamp, for want of better words, to the retailers who are risk averse and family offices and all these other people who are slightly even more risk averse. So it gives it some form of a rubber stamp rather than what it's been called as a scam and all these other things. And it'd be interesting what Neuro Rubini says, because he was going to do a podcast about this today. So, but the bad side is it is nothing to do with people like us. We are just, if you're in the sub few millions, you don't even matter. You really don't. So best thing and best advice I would say is, if you're coming into Bitcoin, at least buy one and forget about it for at least a year. And if you're going to trade, don't trade with your heart. Really, just trade with your mind. And I think Constantin mentioned, and I've mentioned in previous sessions, the trading sensitivity analysis is a lot to do with various sentiments of the market, and some of them are totally out of your control. When whales are actually dumping or buying in the hundreds of millions leveraged, so that moves markets, and so many places to take a decision-making tool or an analysis in your mind, where to get it from. Jason, I'd like to have your comment. I understand that you have a huge community of Bitcoiners, and you're in this with many touch points, as we all do somehow. But in Asian market, where are your retailers seeing this type of news? Do they think it's a plus, and why so? And do they think it's a minus, and why so? If it's more than what we've already discussed. You can go unmute, Jason.
Mike, here.
All right. So, very good question. Okay, I think these are valid concerns. However, I would say this. Okay, my message, okay, to the community is, number one, stop complaining. Okay. Yes. I find ourselves, okay, in a very unique position. Okay, I mean, like, you want Bitcoin to be recognized and be taken seriously. This is bound to happen, right? Okay, all this that's happening, the institutional interest, okay, did not exist 3 years ago. Okay, and now that is coming in, okay, that eventually, okay, this must happen. So I want to share my screen, actually. Okay, I'm going to share my screen because I think this is a very interesting website. It's called Bitcoin Treasuries. It's created by a volunteer. Okay, if you look into this website, right? Okay, this actually is created by some volunteers to trace and track, okay, what are the purchases that are being done by institutions. Like you could see, number one, okay, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is on the top there, right? Okay, But really there's nothing compared to like what Grayscale has bought, okay, etc. But if you add them all up, right, that's only like 6%, okay, of all Bitcoin. So well, there's a few things. One, okay, is that you do realize, okay, that this is a pretty short list. Okay, it's like literally one scroll down and then it's done already. So a question that you got to ask yourself is like, would this list grow, okay, in the next, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, and all that, right? So definitely, okay, something to consider. But at the same time, okay, there's this, idea, okay, that the game has changed, okay, it'll become a big boys game. I think, quite frankly, so far it doesn't really matter because Bitcoin was not created for this game in the first place. Bitcoin was not created, okay, for institutions to do that. And it all depends also as who's holding. Like you talk about whales, right? Okay, who's holding the remaining? Okay, just now was what, 6%. Who's holding the remaining 94%? Because if all of them, okay, have intentions to basically dump, okay, their Bitcoin the moment, okay, it hits say 1 million US dollars, then yeah, okay, then Bitcoin is just this huge pump and dump thing. But I don't think that's the case. Okay, that's why we keep on educating people once every 2 weeks. Okay, we educate people what is Bitcoin, why Bitcoin matters. Okay, and just to appreciate, okay, that where we are right now, you look at everybody's in it for profit. That is perfectly okay. All right, I think everybody's profit seeking. It is a very challenging time. There are a lot of opportunities in the space. Scams are on the rise. Okay, in the retail side, scams on the rise. I get so many calls.
So many.
Okay, so many
Oh my God.
calls from the angle, okay, of running a community. Okay, the volume, okay, of fake accounts trying to go and access our group also is like decline, decline, click, 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 reject, reject, reject. Okay, that has happened. You could see that they are scaling up as well. They are becoming smarter. What's the word, imposter, as they're misusing, okay, Grayscale and any name, okay, to basically scam the unsuspecting customer. Which is again, is all normal. I think just for those who are listening out there who are beginners, you just need to be aware, okay, learn things. That so many resources available now, so many free resources, okay, to learn about Bitcoin properly, right? And yeah, appreciate, okay, the moment. Rico is right. Okay, I think that it's going to be an interesting 1 year.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that, Jason. And let me add to what you've just said as well, because one of the bad things, I said the bad side is because it's in the news virtually every day on most media, is those scams. And, you get it. Jesus, I bet all of us over here get it, and we can spot it a mile away. But the average person out there, which is 99% of the people who don't know what Bitcoin is, and I get so many calls even from friends. Hey, Mru, what do you think about this opportunity where they are saying buy this with Bitcoin and you will get 10x your money and things along these lines? And when you look at the site, it's nothing but a scam site with a scam exchange and a scam swap. And there are so many. And often they also have clickable zip files in an email from, I think Jason just mentioned it, like the Grayscales of the world saying, hey, we are one of the biggest in this. Because I've had that as well from people.
So
And, that's bad. And those zip files have tracker cookies in them. And people should not open that. This is for the listeners. We are savvy guys here.
You know what's funny? Okay, that the people that actually ask me, okay, whether is this real or fake, are people from the banks. Is people from
yes, people, I've had a banking friend as well.
It's
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
It's like people who are
right.
So I'm 35 years old, okay, and I constantly, it just breaks my mind, okay, that people who are 50 and above, who in Asia, okay, we respect, okay, our elders and stuff like that, saying, okay, that is this real? And I'm like, it's so clear it's fake. Okay, what are you talking about?
It is, because we are in the business. That's why. Good. I've got 25 minutes, Sergey, but I just see Catherine join us. So, Catherine, I'm going to hand over the baton to you.
Thank you. Your turn. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Sorry I'm late.
So the question I asked, you can maybe have your view in it. The question I asked is, BlackRock coming into this. It's the largest asset under management company in the world with almost 9 trillion assets. They are coming into Bitcoin, especially in the derivatives and the futures market. So in that futures market, they could, if once leverage, even if they put 100 million, 10x it, that's 1 trillion, which is the size of the whole market. And we were debating the pluses and the minuses here. Do you have a view on that, or you want to handle your own questions?
No, I don't have a view on that because, BlackRock is just like a major whale, and it just presents a lot of opportunities to trade. That's it. It's like
Careful trading.
Yeah, I was asked the question is like pretty simple, especially for a journalist. Like last night I was asked what happened with Bitcoin CV. It sort of went up last week, like it went up hugely, and then it went down, and I was like, well, somebody bought it and then somebody sold it. See, so that's easy, right? Yeah, but if you don't mind, I do have like a couple of questions that
That's it. Over to you now.
Okay, thank you. Again, everyone, hi, hello. I hope you're having a great start to your week, and I hope that this great news, including BlackRock, have encouraged you to have a great mood for trading and for different other things. So the first question that I have, and the first headline that I'd like to discuss is the Craig Wright's a lawyer who asked websites to take down the Bitcoin white paper, right? So let me just walk you through a little bit what happened. Mru, does that sound mean that you're or you have a lot of things to say?
I interviewed on a fireside chat with Craig, and that's out there on YouTube for those who want to look at it. When was Craig Wright's? About 18 months ago. November 2019. There you go. Thanks, Georgie. November 2019. No, we did the usual thing. I was a speaker at one of the events. He was a speaker there. We met up afterwards, and I had a fireside chat. No, actually, I had a fireside chat at another event where I met him in Malta, because I met him in London. Yes. Yeah, it was Malta, right?
And then CC Forum. Yeah.
Yeah. But we met him first at the London conference, and then in Malta I did the fireside chat with him, because we had dinner and all that at the London event, so got to know each other. But I won't say it because this thing is recorded. He has very, very, very strong views, and he said, even in my fireside chat with him, that he's going after all these people. He's going to sue them. He's going to do closing people. I have the white paper. I will prove to them. I'll do this. I'll do that. So go look at that. It was a very interesting, hot conversation.
Well, thank you for bringing like a personal view on that, because that's exactly what I'm going to be asking a bit later. Because I'm interested in, and I'm pretty sure everybody who's watching it is interested in what's happening with that guy, because like he is very emotional about what's going on, but all he does not necessarily bring me personally to the belief that he's Satoshi. Like it just looks weird. But let me get back to the news itself, just to brief you a little bit. So Craig Wright, let me call it that way, the self-proclaimed creator of Bitcoin, has sent legal notices to 2 websites to take down the Bitcoin white paper, right? The very one that was, it was just hosted there. It was not like, nobody owned any rights, but it was just hosted. So Bitcoin.org and BitcoinCore.org were sent 2 notices last week on Wednesday. The Craig's lawyer claimed that he owns Craig owns the copyright to the paper, and he is the original owner of Bitcoin.org. My question to you, first of all, how do you feel about that? About something that is like hosted publicly and available publicly, can be sued legally to be taken down? That's the first question. And the second question, where do you stand on the entire Craig Wright saga to prove he's Satoshi? So
I'll tell you the personal experience, what he told me personally. He said, because I asked him one of those questions, the group that you guys did this white paper and whoever Satoshi is, I was fishing. You know how I am. Rico smiling. He knows exactly how I like. And I don't give a shit whether it's Craig or whoever, right? I just say it as it is. So it was like, trying to fish, and he said, "What do you mean, the people? I am Mr. Satoshi." And you're like, heavy. And you watch, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. So that's out there for those of you who want some fun. But the feeling, you know what? I have the 40% feeling that he's got his hand in it somewhere, somehow. That bit, I left that thinking, and there were some huge, heavy debates, by the way, between him and Roger Ver, and even Tone Vays was out there arguing against him, and many other people. And we had so much fun in the night where we were taking the piss out of him, and he was telling like this to all of us and all that. So it became personal, okay? And really personal, right? And I remember him sitting behind me with who's that guy from the trading company? Trader Cobb. Craig, my friend Craig.
Who are you asking? Do you have?
So I asked Craig, "What do you think of this, and why are you sitting next to him?" You know, and he says, "All I want is a bloody interview with him." So people take him like that. They take him seriously, but because he is the way you just mentioned, heavy on it. So I do feel, after my talk with him, I do feel he has his hand in it, no doubt. That's how I felt. Because nobody else is coming and challenging him, for a start. Say, it's not you, it's me. And two, what he says in there, some of the things, to the point of what was in the white paper itself, you know, it's not everyone who would know it, how and where and what the intentions were right at the beginning, because he's been saying this for years, by the way. It's not just a last 2-3 year story. It's been saying it for years. The lawsuit has been going on for years. So personally, I think he has his hand in it. Is it good or bad for the community? I don't know. I think the more secret it is, it has that feeling of, you know, I want to be part of it. It's a secret community. It belongs to the community. It's totally decentralized. No one owns it. No one does this. That's the beauty about blockchain and decentralized currency. But to then say, hang on, it's Craig Wright who owns this damn thing. And by the way, he's probably got a lot more coins that people know about. And sorry to bring Jason in here. That chart you drew, believe me, I don't think people who have the big amounts would even feature on that chart. Okay?
Exactly.
I knew you would agree with that. So definitely. I don't even believe those charts, okay? 5%, 6%. I don't know what you say to your community, but
it's just like
I don't believe it.
Of the millionaires.
I don't believe it. Because even if so many of this
are not on the list. Yeah.
So I don't even believe it. I mean, I don't think I even saw the Goldman Sachs and those guys on that list. Anyway, coming back to Craig and some of the other people who could move it up and down. So Craig, in my view, the secrecy and, you know, the decentralized thing that what we, the community, want out of Bitcoin could be lost, because you'll then get a haters camp.
Mm. But let me just give you an example. The philosophy that you just mentioned, nobody knows. It's a secret. There's a secrecy in the industry going on. This sort of presents an opportunity for people to go and claim that they are correct, or that they're Satoshi. Let me just start like that. Mru, I am Satoshi. Let me just quote you the white paper, the Bitcoin white paper that was created, right? And then let me just
but hang
out
on,
there,
Catherine.
A little
he's
bit.
given addresses, the old wallet addresses and all that, and that's shenanigans been fought over.
Well, Mru, I'm sorry. Who did you see the addresses yourself personally?
No, I haven't. But I've seen it on the press and media that he's been claiming about it.
I want to make sure we're not confusing people. To whom did he show the addresses?
So if you look at the court cases, some of those court cases he's been fighting with, he's been asked for it, and he says, "Look, here it is," but he couldn't have proved it. It was him. So there's that battle. So that will happen this year.
You see, I made an interview with Zach Resnick, who's he's in Unbounded Capital. It's a venture firm that is actually supporting the BSV community. I was just curious. I know him personally. I like him as a person, but I wanted to know his position on Craig Wright. So there's an interview on my channel as well. You can take a look. And one of the biggest, and I was very mild in my like conversation, not attacking him, not saying anything wrong about Craig Wright, even though I have my own stance. I told him openly that
We all do.
there's a Murphy law.
Yeah.
If something can go wrong, like it will go wrong. Let me ask you, why are we even spending our valuable time right now talking about something that is not even provable? Let's put it this way: philosophically, think about something. A person who would create such a beautiful design, such a beautiful architecture, a decentralized concept that helps people. I really doubt that such a person, he might be as well crazy or taking a lot of drugs, that's fine. However, I doubt that such a person will actually use a court system, which is antagonism to every value that we're talking about in the decentralized community. I doubt that such a person would be so crazy enough to even ask somebody to take down the websites that are public. I mean, it's a joke, I think every serious person like in the community understand it's a joke. I clearly understand why somebody wants to draw attention, and he probably matches a lot of takes in, like as a person who was into theology, as a person who's scientist, blah blah blah. But listen, Vitalik Buterin and many other prominent people in there. I think it was in Decenime, they openly. Roger Ver and other folks, like they openly discussed it. There's hours of conversations, and I think it's just pity to even give him this attention. That's what he wants. And I think by us even spending valuable time by talking about other things, that's a pity to me. I'll be honest with that, and not to you, Catherine. I think it's a valid question, but I would just not spend a minute on this more.
Yeah. So as I was saying, he's very arrogant, very opinionated, very this, that, and the other.
Let's hear Jason.
That's
I think he has something to say.
Yeah, Jason.
So I agree. It is a very good question. Okay, thanks, Catherine, for that question. But he's a non-event. He really is a non-event. He's a meme to the community. He's a meme, just like Peter Schiff. Okay, I mean, they are really, really great. Okay, things to talk about. They make the crypto scene spicy, but it really, I mean, if you really want to know whether Craig Wright whether he is Satoshi, okay, go and read all the email threads, okay, and the forum threads, okay. We have a special section on our website, bitcoinmalaysia.com, just specially dedicated to Satoshi as well, just give you all the links there. And if you actually read, okay, just follow and kind of give you insights as to, the tone and all of it, like what Constantin said, it just doesn't match. So, and what's the point? What do you achieve, okay, if you can claim that, you created Bitcoin? There's actually no value at all. Rico, I want to hear what you think. Because I hope that we can just, talk about other things after this.
Sure, I think I'll make it short and sweet. I think our friend Craig has his role to play in the network, and he's just playing his role. I'll just put it as it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I personally do not Craig personally. That's why I have no comment. Catherine.
Yeah, but the thing is that a good question is the question that makes you, start a conversation. So that was a good question because you sort of got.
Yeah, but none of us talk about Craig Wright in our day-to-day life. We don't talk about Craig Wright. You see, I didn't even know when I did that fireside chat. I had to ask Georgie, who was doing the filming. I didn't even know. To me, it's non-entity.
Okay, so the second piece of news that came out today that I wanted to sort of bring to you is the American Cancer Society, and the Given blog have created a new research fund to accept that can accept crypto donations, right? So this is like a charitable event for good cause, which brings me to the second part of this news that I'd like to share is that UK hospitals are using blockchain to track the temperature of vaccines in partnership with the Hedera Hashgraph. So my question to you, so first of all, I think if I'm allowed to sort of give news any kind of color, this is positive news. This is an actual use case in this very complicated time. My question to you is like, first of all, do you think that this is like a good, vivid example of how the blockchain technology can be used? And the second question to you guys is that we are in 2021, and how do you feel today the best use case for blockchain as a technology is? Do you have any special projects in mind that are doing something interesting or valuable or helpful? So I'd like to start with with Jason. Yeah.
Can I go first? Right.
Yes.
So I love the question. Okay. I love that charities, okay, with better, regulatory clarity, okay, in certain jurisdictions, okay, people feel safer, okay, to basically receive cryptocurrencies. My answer would be, I would love to donate USDC, okay, but Bitcoin is too valuable to spend right now. So that would be my answer.
I think we are all with that. Thank you for a short and sweet. Yeah, Dito. I think people with Bitcoin would do exactly that. They'll only convert X amount, and I do, and I'm sure we all do into charity. We have our own charity foundation inside our company. So, but that is not in Bitcoin. That we do it through.
Yeah, and the second part of the question is like the best use case or the best place to use blockchain at this moment, or a project that is doing something interesting that not everybody knows about, because Bitcoin and Ethereum is the mainstream, the so-called, and it gets a lot of attention from different outlets. But at the same time, there are much more valuable projects that are doing something. So I'd like to bring attention to them if possible.
I feel like DeFi is the right now, because I put a lot of my attention right now in exploring DeFi, right? I think DeFi, okay, has amazing use cases. Okay, right now, first you allow people to basically lend and borrow. Okay, basically they are like decentralized banks. People can check out Maker. They can deposit ETH, get a DAI loan, and then if when ETH appreciates, okay, then it kind of like makes their store of value, okay, and then access to credit. There's a lot of wonders, okay, that actually can happen, okay, on the DeFi space. Really, really excited for DeFi.
Okay, thank you, Constantin. I think you wanted to say something.
Sure. I also would go for DeFi. There are a lot of great projects. For example, I would point out projects like Chainlink, Aave, Synthetics, Barnbridge. And I would not be able to even talk about them all, because there are what they're doing is essentially what Jason mentioned. They're democratizing certain aspects of allocation of capital, whether it's lending or borrowing, or giving you an ability to become part of the big boys game, become essentially an automated market maker, and providing your capital and participating in a game without the intermediaries of the banks who are actually taking all the cream. And the reason why I think it's accessible and it is possible is because if you think about the distribution of wealth, how it works in a traditional space, right? You need to pay huge amounts of money to support the infrastructure. You need to pay salaries, you need to pay a lot of stuff. And that's why there's no even when you're talking about the potential APY that you would have from a bank, they're minuscule, and they're they're tiny, because there's not enough even juice to share with others. If you're talking about decentralized system, their cost effectiveness is exceptional, and that's why they're able to pay higher returns than what we call in this DeFi world for farming, right? Ability to have. And I also want to caution people, it is you have to learn a lot. You have to. It's not investment advice. You have to basically understand what you're getting into, because you can be wiped out as well. There's no guarantee, right? But however, just the fact that we're experimenting, it's a beautiful socioeconomical experiment if you think about it. Tokenizing risk protocols, different, creating certain pools of synthetic bonds, synthetic different financial instruments that allow you to earn with the people who actually on the same rules, who are the founders of the project. I think, I mean, we're talking about in unprecedented times. Most of the times in the history of the startup, like, you know, any startup, like, as we know, the founding team, the people who are early, they're getting more like benefits out of it. And it's very clear. They're getting more shares, their valuation is different, they're getting more respect, everything. With the concept of, you know, DAO, so-called like decentralized autonomous organizations, you know, something that is for the people and basically gets the founders out of the picture. I think we're talking about the new evolution of how the capital is redistributed, and not to go deeper into every single aspect. I think that by itself is very it's very important and it's beautiful.
So well said.
Yeah, well put. Sergey, did you want to say something?
Yes, I want to add something, and I want to insist on the point of view that blockchain as distributed ledger technology designed for the cryptocurrency. It's not designed for everything on earth for substitute or for thing or for making happen all the kind of, I'd say it's is the place for calculating or place for storing something. Otherwise, in other words, I want to say that blockchain as substitution for recording the money moving or movement of the money is the best way to make it happen to the whole humanity. But for the technology as money using and using for everyone on earth, or making in spread within everyone, or something useful as value storage, as the transaction storage, as storage. I just forget the word. How I'd say it's not a distributed ledger. It's the place like the Excel, like the accountable place for making all the records happening in the very fast way is the bad one. But for the community, for the everyone on earth, every one of the human can be engaged somehow, the best way to use it is only cryptocurrency, in my point of view. Unfortunately, this is already happened, and this technology already, blew mind all of the people around the globe, and they are get in. Now they have all the chances and all the opportunities to change it, finally to change it in digital way. And I think it's already achieved in my point of view. Thank you.
Rico.
Yes, I would say that, well, to answer your question, Catherine, the best product we have in the market is obviously Bitcoin as a product. And moving forward, it is the basis of developing a quantum financial system as we have built, more digitization of our world. We are looking at a future where everything could be digitized, more or less. That could be an asset that could be transferred instantly around the whole world, or even outer space. So I think that's where this possibility was created with the use of cryptography, and became a blockchain technology. And we need many other technologies to be integrated, not just what we have now. And we are looking at how all these technologies could be shared on a platform, rather than just only on financial system or maybe on data, integration, encryption. We have a lot of potentials to be explored, and this is being enabled with a few good use cases, and a lot of innovations are going on globally, as our colleagues has mentioned in earlier on. And this is where we are heading in the next 5 to 10 years. A lot of changes. I believe right now the biggest challenge we have is in the space of cybersecurity, because without a good cybersecurity infrastructure, a lot of things can't be done yet. Would you dare to go on an autonomous vehicle if you know it can be hacked anytime soon? Those sort of questions are things that cryptography and also blockchain technology solution can resolve in the near future.
I'd like to add something, to what Rico said, which is that it actually all started with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, helps, the current narrative, that is growing very strong is that Bitcoin has introduced a very reliable store of value, right? And because of thanks to what Bitcoin has introduced to us, okay, there's a potential use case that's going to be happening in Malaysia, where we're going to teach people, okay, to basically save the underprivileged, the etc., to increase, okay, their thing. Traditionally, we would teach them to hold gold, but now with Bitcoin, okay, we can teach them to hold Bitcoin, and then with those savings, collateralize it, and then have new access to a new form of financing. Now, all this, you won't understand if you don't try it yourself. But the moment, okay, that you actually experience it yourself, then you suddenly realize that, wait a minute, now traditionally, okay, I need to go to the bank and I need to show all these things, okay, in order to get a loan. But now if I just build a habit of savings, and compared to gold, which is much more cumbersome to manage, okay, I need to worry about my security, I have Bitcoin is better. And then, you know, you create this savings and you have instant access, okay, to financing. I think, okay, a lot of like small businesses, okay, if they want to maybe get $1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 US dollars, okay, of financing just to go and start their business, they're going to find decentralized finance very interesting, and it all started with Bitcoin.
Very well put. Very well. I don't even know what to add.
Could I share with you some of the projects?
Yes,
because that
would
was
be
the
great.
question.
Yes.
That was what you were saying.
Yes.
To see what. So we track these all the time. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So there are several. There are really several projects, and again, people on the call have already mentioned. So we look at it by category, what some of the best projects are per category. So we've talked about the lending market. So, you know, some good hot ones, you know, Huawei's mentioned, Centrifuge is another one. There's quite a few. Compound is another one. We track, and we like these, okay? So many use cases. Then you go into the next space, which is the trading space. Lots of good DeFi and token kind of projects, which are amazing in terms of either financing or insurance, or it could be just basic trading types of tokens, okay, or coins, okay. Then you have the payment side. So many payment side that we track to see what are people doing in the payments market. Lots of exciting projects. Fuse being a nice one that I like, without recommending any of these, by the way, right? So in terms of projects and how blockchain and decentralized exchange, DeFi, all these things are helping. Even the wallet space, we are talking about cutting the middleman. We are doing it ourselves, you know, with our own blockchain, our own staking coin, our own wallets, our own velocity program, etc. There are so many wallets out there just now that does multi-channel, multi-exchange, multi-staking, farming, as Constantin mentioned, things along those lines. So, you know, I don't think the world is short of innovation or short of, and I'm just floating it by because I've got to jump on another call, but there are so many categories of innovation that is happening, including education space, okay? And podcasts. So I think we've talked about this with Sergey before, digital TVs, again, with a monetization way of giving the users money back for their eyeballs, because they are giving you their eyeballs. Imagine YouTube, Google, Facebook, all these people who steal our data and they don't share their revenue with us. So these kind of innovations are coming as well. I hope that gives you some insight into some projects, but there's tons. I don't think the market is short of projects. I mean, we track a lot of these.
Wow, that is very helpful and useful, and thank you for sharing. I'm sure our readers or viewers enjoy that.
Okay, I've got to go. Sorry. Nice to meet you, everyone. Got to shoot for another group. See you guys.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
See you. Thanks. Bye. Have fun.
Bye, Mru.
Bye.
Bye. So that would be sad to discuss it without Mru, but I do have like.
Is Gordon joining tonight?
Well, yeah, I mean,
he had to finish his previous call. Yes, unfortunately, he's on the same time, but I hope that he will.
And Josh is coming in as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, but I do have like two pieces left. So, just a headline, and just like to sort of go back to our previous discussion, data when we were talking about WhatsApp and the change in data privacy rules. So, Signal is reportedly exploring crypto payments, and reportedly is going to launch a privacy crypto token. So my question is actually, so this is a headline crypto related, but my question is, did you guys sign up for Signal already, or are you using Telegram?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
We have been using Signal for about 2.5 years.
Oh.
Prior to this, a lot of us actually from the crypto space were using Signal, and we don't like to use Telegram. I don't know why. But due to the fact that most layman people are using WhatsApp, we still have to use WhatsApp and WeChat every day. So yeah.
Awesome. Constantin, you look like you agree. Am I correct?
I use both as well. And I've been one of the early users both in Telegram and Signal. We're using it for many years, and I was actually predicting that they were going to become popular. Like at a time, I remember for someone who's watching it right now, my friends were laughing at me saying, "Oh, they were never outbeat WhatsApp, whatever." So you hear me now, like so I do believe that more and like, just so that you understand, like last time we were talking about 25 million people migrated to Telegram and about 50 million to Signal. Now I think those numbers doubled since our last time we had a conversation. So there is a huge mistrust of what is happening, like WhatsApp. And just to give you maybe a little bit, I hate to go political, but I think it's important, just to mention, like after like 70 million people were actually, they left, their president left, and basically there's a certain level of trust where he was deplatformed from all of the major platforms. So now, like, the Parler was the big news. Again, not to talk about this, but I think what is happening, like, those people are now also massively migrating to alternatives, right? So this is a big trend. So we're going to see much more adoption for Signal and Telegram.
So will you be deleting WhatsApp anytime soon?
That's a good question. I for now, let's put it this way. I'm not sure I will delete it, but I will definitely limit all my communication there. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And just keep
Rico, please inform me somehow to have a chance to reach you. Yes, for inviting you, because I have only one chance on the WhatsApp. Do not.
Let me create a group for you in Signal.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, you can just sign up and try it for yourself.
And then we transfer everything to Signal. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, how do you feel about Telegram and Signal?
So I heard about Signal. I'm using Signal now, okay, but I only heard about it because of the WhatsApp incident recently. Mm-hmm. And there was this recent article as well where WhatsApp accidentally indexed everybody's chats. So that kind of made me felt differently about it. I still love Telegram, okay, because it's an intuitive thing. I mean, like, I want to like Signal because of what it represents, but just intuitively, I'm still not used to it. I find myself still, using Telegram more, right? Okay, for my communications, okay, more than WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm not going to delete WhatsApp because my parents, my family, and friends are all still. It's just for practical reasons, right? If you are just sharing, cat videos and whatnot, okay, right? Okay, you're texting your girlfriend or whatnot. Yeah, WhatsApp is fine,
Oh, okay, perfect. So,
but my family is migrating our family chat to Signal already, and they are like 60, 70-year-old people in the group, and they're totally fine with Signal. So I think that is a huge switch when this news broke up, and we were like, finally it's happening. We were using Signal like 2 years plus ago, and I was like, just a matter of time, this will eventually happen. And the same goes to Facebook. Eventually, one day we'll all talk about, let's delete our Facebook account after watching the movie The Social Dilemma. I mean, I'm just waiting for the time to come.
I would love to get some tips from you offline, how you actually, got your parents to do that. Really speaking to technology, okay, to parents is like, oh.
So I just wanted to add to that is that I'm not sure if you are familiar with the so-called partisan conservative social platform called Parler, where everybody flew from Twitter when Trump was banned from the social media platform. But I mean, Parler, the founder of Parler calls itself, calls themselves a like partisan platform for everybody who wants to have an access to free speech, meaning that there is no such huge moderation in place. That's why this particular network was scrutinized and criticized a lot by a lot of people after the Washington attack. And it was subsequently deleted from Google Play and from Apple Store. The same thing is happening right now with Telegram. Today it was reported that there is a lawsuit filed in the US by, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Yeah, US, Southern California. Sorry, Constantin.
By Google pressed lawsuit to dump Telegram just like Parler. Yeah.
Yes, so, but I mean, like the piece of news that I saw is that the former ambassador, who's now based in Northern California, has filed a lawsuit against Telegram, accusing it of not having moderation. The thing that Telegram is like supposedly famous for, it says that it provides like high security because they do not moderate anything and they let us do whatever we want in our chats. But it just might happen that way, that Telegram might be deleted from Google Play. I'm not sure what it means for the future of the platform, knowing Durov and his comments. He doesn't actually care. He might find a way to attract users. But I mean, it just sort of just for you to know about that Telegram might be deleted from Google Play and might be subsequently deleted from Apple Store. I mean, I'm just judging by the experience with Parler. So, and the last piece of news that I wanted to sort of talk to you about is, let me just find it real quick. The comments of the now confirmed Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen about cryptocurrency last week. So first of all, she said that Bitcoin is used in illicit activities. And they need to like sort of look into that more deeply to understand how it works. But it was sort of disproven by the ARK Invest research team. The research team showed that obviously cash is much more involved in illegal activity than the cryptocurrencies. But she later retracted her comments, and let me just read it out. She said, the quote is, "I think we need to look closely at how to encourage their use for legitimate activities while curtailing the use for malign and illegal activities. If confirmed, I intend to work closely with the Federal Reserve Board and the other federal banking and securities regulators on how to implement an effective framework for these and other fintech innovations." That's a great statement. It means that, crypto is getting its momentum, but is it good? Is it actually good? And what should we expect from the, from the Secretary of Treasury in the US? How do what do you think about that, and what sort of should we expect? Does it mean more scrutiny? Does it mean free market? So how do we feel about that?
First and foremost, okay, Sergey, does this channel have a sense of humor? Because if it does, I want to share something.
It already has. No one clearly understands what it can bring for him or for she personally. But when everything with this information is spread, it goes so viral. I can easily see that it's really happened. That's why we're here.
So what's that? This is a meme, okay, which basically went viral, okay, in my community the other day, right? Okay, it's just so funny that it coincided with the dump, right? So then this was circulating and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. I don't want to comment on that any apart from that, okay. But maybe I'll leave it to Constantin and Rico. I'm gonna step away for a moment.
Yeah, I think it will be fine. Like seriously, there's nothing to comment. I clearly understand why she's having this stance, but I think Yellen is actually, I respect her as an economist, and The not to go deeper, like we can discuss her policy and why can celebrate that she's the first woman in this position. But I will just remind a simple thing, Gary Gensler, who is now soon is going to be like the new SEC chairman, which is to me much more like to us as a firm, and to me personally a much more important position, and the regulator that we look upon from a different perspective. He previously presented a free course on Bitcoin consisting of 24 video courses, lectures, powered by MIT. The guy who's going to be an SEC chairman, just to remind everyone, presented a course for 24 videos at MIT on blockchain. So I think we'll be fine, honestly.
So basically what you're saying is that it might not mean anything. It's just a simple statement, but the SEC stance on it might look a little bit more optimistic under the new chairman's term.
They're doing their job. I mean, if you look at the even notion, before what he was saying, there were terrible things they were trying to push through, all the possible new legislations that would not be favorable to crypto. But as an industry, we're grown up and now, and we there were a lot of collective, hundreds of thousands of letters collected and sent to rebuttal to explain the position and explain that it's just not reasonable, and we get it. Listen, those people, they do their job. They might not always understand deeply technology. So it requires us to also form certain groups that will explain it to them. Simple.
I think that, this is politics. And we all know that politics doesn't affect our crypto world that much anyway. If it does, there won't be any cryptocurrency anyway. So I believe it's a good media, it's a good laugh, it's something that we can enjoy talking about it and let them do their job. I mean, then they need a job better than all of us. Give it to them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Very optimistic and actually true. So, my last question to you guys is a very short one. Is it the time to buy? That's the question.
To buy what?
I don't know. You tell me. But I'm actually talking about Bitcoin because it is not going up as much as we've expected up to this point, right? So it's at 32,000 right now. So the question is, it's just we probably have seen a lot of predictions on where it's going to go. The question is it time to buy?
I'll go first.
Yes.
So let's see. Not financial advice. Okay. Always say.
Yeah,
okay,
none of that is financial.
Okay, not financial advice. What we teach, in our community is, once people understand what Bitcoin is, how to separate between what's real and fake. Mm-hmm. I think we actually mentioned it earlier today. Okay, that actually, when you have that 10-year mindset, every time is a good time to buy. Okay, because you are not. And you don't, and for those listening out there and you're beginners, don't put your life savings into this. Okay, if you actually need that money tomorrow, okay, to basically pay for bills and stuff like that, don't use that money. I have to basically work an honest living, get savings, and then every time, every month I just buy more Bitcoin. So if you have that kind of mindset, then every time is a good time to buy Bitcoin. Because if you believe that Bitcoin goes to $1 million, does it really matter, okay, if you bought it, say, for example, at 30,000? I mean, right now, Bitcoin is 32,000, right?
Yeah.
Does it matter to you, okay, if somebody told you that they bought it at 1,000 or 3,000 or 500? It doesn't matter to you, right? So the same thing goes, okay, is that first understand what Bitcoin is, okay, understand that right now there's a time clicking, okay, the opportunity window, okay, will get shorter and shorter and shorter because institutional interest is already coming in, and every time is a good time to buy crypto, to buy Bitcoin.
You know what I would do? I would put it on a headline. Anytime is a good time to buy crypto. That's just very clickbaity, and not in a bad way. It's just something that people would look at. Constantin, is it a good time to buy?
Yeah, I It's not a financial advice.
Not financial advice.
I cannot answer this question directly, but let's put it this way. I share Jason's opinion. So if you are a long-term player, so it every day is a good opportunity, basically. So if you believe that, think about it logically, if you believe it will go to 100,000, like just Bitcoin will go to 100,000, and we have other assets that will follow, maybe Ethereum even outperform in the absolute returns parameters. So yeah, definitely. If you believe that's the ultimate outcome and that's the next milestone, so yeah, that you care less. I don't watch right now Bitcoin prices only when I'm asked to comment somewhere in CoinDesk or anywhere. That's when I go and do technical analysis. Other than that, I really don't care. I'm gonna have a view of a few years, 10 years, 5 years. So yeah.
Awesome. Rico, how do you feel about that?
Well, for me and my team in Sanctum, we are doing algorithm trading for both futures, and we recently created an algorithm that does spot as well. So for us, we are buying all the time, and we are selling all the time too. So I think our colleagues answered everything we should say. So I would say that there's no such thing as a good time to buy Bitcoin. Just buy it, and depending what you want to do with it. Again, this is not financial advice. If you have the extra money, just buy one for your kid,
Okay, we have a very, very bullish and optimistic crowd.
You didn't ask Sergey. You didn't ask Sergey.
Yes.
How about Sergey? Yeah.
Sergey.
Let me speak as well. Guys, I want to give you, all of you, really investment advice, because when you are buying something, you have to know what kind of issue you're going to resolve on buying something. If you buy Bitcoin for money, for value of storage, for get rid of all the fiat money or something else, yes, it's a good way to buy. If you do not know for what we are buying to this kind of asset or stuff or something else, you do not resolving your issues. You're just doing something, training or something advisement or something else. First of all, let you personal know for what are you buying something or for what are you doing something is the best investment advice for personal to each other, and to be treated, to be understandable on what market are you living for, are you going into, or are you trying to be familiar to. I think is the best way. Thank all of you guys. I'm really happy to see and to have so many think tanks in our read and find the best thoughts on earth. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Constantin, Kogan. Thank you, Jason, Rico, and me personally for making this happen. It's not investment advice. It's just for thoughts to each other. Thanks a lot. My pleasure to have all of you today. See you next week on No Bullshit News with the discussion with the best and distinguished people around the globe. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Mercurio, the European leader in cryptocurrency payment processing solutions, is making its way to the USA. Our technology enables businesses across the world to send and receive payments for goods and services using cryptocurrencies. To do this, we provide businesses with our widget that lets the users buy and sell cryptocurrencies, allowing companies to earn more. Mercurio technology allows cryptocurrencies to be used as any form of payment worldwide. Its infrastructure provides solutions for virtual accounts, business payments, remittance processing, and mass payouts, regardless of local payment methods and currencies. All these parts unite into one seamless and smooth ecosystem that reveals new opportunities for business. It works smoothly and provides the best possible user experience both for business and users too. So its partners can work with Mercurio in America, and American businesses can access clients in Europe and around the world. It empowers more businesses to be part of the global blockchain community, making the digital economy a reality for more and more partners worldwide. Mercurio, bridging fiat and crypto worlds.